Can you blame one player for your team's misfortune? How can management be so wrong about a player or a group of players? And when do you give up on a season? All on today's 1420 Sports Bar podcast, joined by Aaron and Joy from Brutally Honest Sports. Let's get into her.
The following is a presentation of the Belly Up Sports Media Network.
1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for beer, sports talk, and a whole lot more. Join host Brent Radlinsky as he bellies up to the bar and gets the conversation going that'll make you think you're sitting in your local watering room. It's sports, beer, and shenanigans, so sit back, grab a few beers, and let's get into it. The 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, for beer, sports talk, and a whole lot more for this Saturday afternoon, July the 5th, 2025. Today's show is brought to you by SeatGeek.com, the SeatGeek app. Use promo code BELLYUP over there at SeatGeek. You save yourself $20 on your first purchase. We are part of that Belly Up Media Network. Go to bellyupsports.com for all their great shows and podcast articles, as well as I watched had a rare Saturday off here, so I watched No Credentials Required there. They were talking about the Yankees, which me and my guest today, Aaron from Brutally Honest Sports. We thought we had another guy coming on with us, Aaron, but he he vamoosed somehow. He went somewhere. He just maybe sitting at a bar somewhere. Who knows what goes on there? But how you doing? Been a while, Aaron.
Yeah, it has been a while. It's we're ripping right through summer. I mean, I don't know. I guess August is more so the dog days of baseball, but it kind of feels like that already. But yeah, doing well. It's like I said, just going really, really fast, but trying to enjoy it as much as I can.
Yeah, I haven't I finally got a day off away from the ball team, and then it's raining like cats and dogs outside. Like, oh well, because the team's on the road. So let's get together, get a pod, sit down and talk some sports. And there's a lot going on in the world of baseball. I haven't had a ton of time to watch, and kind of a good thing for the way my team is doing. But I kind of get laughing about we'll talk Yankee fans. Like your Phillies are doing very well, but on the other hand, your other team that we talked about last time you're on, your Baltimore Orioles are kind of just this what they are, and this season it's pretty much a wash as of July the 5th. It's kind of tough for fans and the players probably alike, and management, everything else. But I always get a kick out of what goes on with management. And we were talking a little bit off air. How can a team be so wrong, management-wise, management, coaches, GMs, or if you go to college sports with athletic directors and alumni and whoever picks those teams? How can the upper management be so wrong on so many factors when a team just don't get it done, and they spend X amount of dollars or whatever it might be? Like, how do you and you're sitting around a bar with your buddies and you're talking, and we have all the answers all the time, but how do these guys who get paid millions of dollars to make these decisions, how are they so wrong about these things all the time?
It doesn't make much sense, right? I mean, we not to pile on. I just feel like the Yankees are one of those teams that I look at that it doesn't necessarily make sense. Like the Goldschmidt signing was kind of like a low risk, high reward, and I think they've kind of gotten their money's worth with him. He's actually played above what I definitely thought he was going to give them for sure. But then losing Soto. I mean, obviously Max Fried was a huge contract on the books, and like thankfully they did it for your guys' sake, just because of Cole going down. But at the same rate, I mean, who's to replace? Like, I'm not saying you're going to replace Soto, but if Bellinger is your only other offensive answer, I just don't. With the payroll that they put out there, I just thought like Kyle Tucker. If I'm a Yankees fan, I would have said, why didn't we get Kyle Tucker for at least one season and then try and re-sign him? Play the whole Soto thing all over again, kind of deal. But I just, you look at their lineup. I mean, like, no disrespect to that catcher that was like an Uber driver, but I mean, it's kind of like, wow. Like, I mean, Jazz Chisholm to me is so hot or cold. Volpe, like we already kind of said, he's not great offensively by any stretch. It's just like you said it perfectly off air. Is like without Aaron Judge, how is this team going to score a bunch of runs? I don't see it.
Well, you hate to blame one guy for a team's misfortune. I'm not talking management because I think Cashman's kind of blown it a little bit, and Boone hasn't been very good. But on the field, like, you hate to blame one guy, but I think you actually can. Like, and I think this goes with any sport. Like when you like with baseball, you have 9 positions, right? And if one guy's doing his job, which Aaron Judge is, and you have Bellinger's who's okay, and you have Goldschmidt who's okay, then you have a guy like Volpe who, like, the Yankees have been in first place up until a few days ago, but you have a guy like Volpe who just leaving runners on base night after night after night, and the Yankees had the most guys left on base so far this season in baseball. Can teams blame one guy? Because there's only 9 at bats or 9 guys in the lineup, and eventually, okay, well, I got on base, I did this. Obviously, Judge did this. Volpe just doesn't. Can a team, and let's get off the Yankees, or you can pile on if you want. I don't care. But can teams blame a guy? Because if your lineup is set, let's say in football the same way, in hockey the same way, basketball the same way, if you don't have one guy doing it, it can screw up the whole dynamic of a sports organization.
I don't know if you can put the entire offense as a blame on like a Volpe if everybody was hitting, back in the day when the Yankees had everybody on that team was like A-Rod, Posado, Teixeira, like everybody's hitting 260 and above and 25 home runs and above, and it felt like if you had Volpe on that team, I think you could blame him because it's like he's definitely an outlier. But with some of these other guys, I'm looking at like Jazz Chisholm's only hitting in the 240s on the season. Bellinger is not really doing much either. I couldn't blame just Volpe, but I don't, this whole, people were making and it's easy to do it because he wanted to be a Yankee and Jeter wanted to be a Yankee, but people, when he came up, like, oh, this is the second coming of Jeter, like that is a far stretch at this point. But I mean, even like Trent Grisham, what's he? I mean, I know he's kind of like a fill-in guy, and he actually has 16 home runs, which surprises me. But like, there's no other than Judge. Is there like another guy on this team that you're like afraid to pitch to? I don't think there's anybody that's like strikes fear into another pitching.
There's not. Like, I was watching those guys. Like I said, I was watching No Credits Required this morning, and I was like, the Yankees don't scare anybody. Like, they don't. And like for Michael Kay to be popping off there today, and you and I are both big Kay fans. Like we are. Like I think worst of the ground that guy walks on as a broadcaster. And when he goes off and says that the Toronto Blue Jays don't scare anybody, they're not a first place team. Well, that was a big Jesus, man. Kay don't say many wrong things, but I'm like, well, they're in first place or they're winning. They got a little bit of swagger going on. They got this going on. They got that going on. And look at the Yankees. They're just not. Like, they're just not. And they don't put the fear of God into anybody, like, at all. Like, because you just look at, and this is one thing that pisses me off. It took me 8:31 to get into this one, but I don't understand this days off and rest thing. You have a guy like Stanton who plays every third day, and then he was a little bit hot. He takes a little bit to get going, and then he got 2 games in. He was doing all right, and I'll sit him. Well, he's been sitting since freaking February. Like, who comes up with these stupid ideas and these stupid thought processes? And it's not just every team has these guys with scheduled off days. If a guy's rolling, let him keep rolling. Hitting's hard. Like, if you take a couple days off, and you never know, and especially with Stanton, you don't know how long this guy's got in your lineup. And this is anybody. Use him. Like, you're paying this clown anyway. Not clown. He's a very good player. Probably he's like you don't know how long you got this guy. Like, you got to keep rolling with him when you can, because he could trip over his lip tomorrow morning and be done. I don't understand it.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, putting these guys in bubble wrap, is that really doing you any favors? Because, like you said, I mean, he could go out the next game he plays, and boom, there goes his knee or whatever.
His feelings, whatever. Yeah,
and maybe his mental state changes because he was rolling. Now he comes back in. I got to get back into the like you said. I mean, all sports are a mental game in addition to a physical game, but baseball, I would almost argue, is one of the biggest mental not struggles, but like tests as a sport,
Yeah.
because like it's team related, but everything's pretty much individualized, when you're up to bat and in the box. So I don't know. I mean, I'm not gonna say I get it, because like of all, like Stanton, you got our guy Mike Trout. Like there's guys in the league that are like, even Harper's turning into one of those guys where it's like he steps on the field and 2 seconds later he's hurt. So like I'm not gonna say I understand it, but I don't know. You can't guard against injury, because if it's gonna happen, it's gonna, like, okay, was he gonna get injured in that game they benched him? Who knows? Is he gonna get injured tomorrow? Who knows? Like, it's just you don't
know.
idea.
Use them. You don't know. You only got this guy for this amount of time anyway, so utilize it. I just don't get it. Like the one that gets me, and I think we might have talked about a time or two before, is that and we kind of alluded to it earlier, like how these managers and GMs, and they get it so wrong. And you go, how? I've always found it mesmerizing when like a GM or a director of baseball operations or whoever goes to an owner and says, we should give this guy $80 million. We should give this guy $80 million because I've got a good feeling. And then they're so horribly wrong. And then the management, the first thing they do is what? They fire the coach. They fire the coach to cover their ass. And it's like, how can you be like make all this money and be so horribly wrong? And it's water off a duck's back. It's no big deal. And it's not just in baseball. It happens all the time. Like all the time, where you're just like, what the heck is going on here? Like even, obviously it's a lot of money, but even a guy who makes $4 million, I just like, there was something I was listening to the other day, and other than your top, like in hockey, you got your top 3-4 guys in every team, and then your top 10 guys in the league. Other than that, and it's the same in football and same in baseball. Everybody's just a player. They're good. They're professional athletes. They're good, but they're not great. And how like these pieces end up making so much money? You're like, why are we spending this much money on a guy when we could probably just give him, I don't know, $20 a game and a gas card? Like it's just like, what are we doing here? I just don't understand all the money that gets. And they're so wrong about these guys.
Yeah, and imagine the metrics and stuff like that they have, and we never will ever see. Like, I don't care what, like, there's that Pro Football Focus. There's all those websites out there that give you like endless amount of data and stuff like that. But like these guys have like, I'm not going to say it factors in a ton, but maybe some teams, like maybe the Yankees look at, like, we want more high character guys. I don't know. I'm just like totally throwing stuff at a wall, because it's like I kind of keep coming back to, why would you not just go get Kyle Tucker instead of cheaping out and getting, like, did you really think Bellinger was going to give you a ton? Like,
I had hopes, but I was like, it was a hope, right?
Yeah, and like he's not.
And I'm not the one stroking the check, because the Cubs are actually stroking part of the check, and the Yankees are too. I had hopes, but it's not my bank account, so I didn't give a shit, right?
Yeah,
all right, yeah. But then it's like, yeah, like it's like when I hope, it's one thing. When they hope, that's a whole nother can of worms.
Right. Yeah. I mean, looking at he's not actually playing. 269, 270, 13 home runs. That's not like terrible. It's really, like, I thought he was actually.
It's a guy.
Right? But yeah, it's not a needle. Like, if he's just in addition to, like, if you had Soto and Judge and, I don't know, one more guy, like whoever, you implement somebody else in the infield that can hit some home runs and hit for average. Like that Luis Arraez guy, if he was on the Yankees and then you had a Cody Bellinger on top of a couple other guys, like, yeah, that's a good recipe for success. But I don't know, ever since, excluding the Soto year, you don't know what you're going to get with, you kind of know what you'll get with Stanton, but it's not what he used to be. So the Yankees kind of factoring that in, you would think why would they live and die by just Aaron Judge? Like, if you're I don't know, there's teams out there that, the Dodgers are an anomaly, but like the Phillies have kind of stacked their lineup, I think, decently well. Some of these guys are aging like very quickly, but like at least you kind of see, like, you have Schwarber, you have Trey Turner, a guy who can hit for 300, Nick Castellanos hit some home run. Like, they have some balance. I'm not saying it's the best lineup, but it has its flaws, and they go ice cold. But the Yankees are so like it just feels like it's Judge or not, and like that's about it because everybody else is just all over the place. Like Stanton's here that gone tomorrow. Jazz is here today, gone tomorrow. It's just like what else do you really have trotting out there every day?
I know Yankees fans don't want to hear this, but it's almost like they're in a rebuild mode almost with what they're doing, but they're not rebuilding because they don't have any prospects. These guys are supposed to be bona fide major leaguers. Like it's just I don't know what's going on. Like, are they in a regroup, rebuild, retool? Because without Aaron Judge, are they 500? Seriously, probably. That's probably about it, if that. Like, look at the what they're doing now. Like, and they're really kind of like the Judge may be one of the best home run hitters of my generation. Everything I've ever watched, the way he hits and everything else. And he's not striking out a ton anymore. And so, are the Yankees wasting this guy's career? I mean, they're giving him $45 million a year or whatever it is. Like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing? I've said this 1,000 times to you, let alone the people that I talk to on a daily basis. If I'm Steinbrenner, I'd be asking Cashman, like, what? Why are the Tampa Bay Rays spending $8.99 on a discount card, and they're ahead of us in the race, or tie us in the race, and we're spending $250-300 million? What's going on? Like, I would be irate if I was the owner or the investors or whatever it might be. It would drive me absolutely batty to see these teams doing it. And then what am I getting for? Am I filling Yankee Stadium? Yeah. Do I get extra playoff game? Yeah. But man, oh man, like, and then if I'm Judge, I'd be pissed off too. This isn't what I signed up for. I mean, he probably sleeps pretty well on a mountain of money under his head, but he's like, you got to be thinking like, I wouldn't mind winning something, right? Like, it's just, I don't know. It's hard to fathom.
That's what's so weird about them is like they open up the pocketbook. I mean, like you see, Max Fried coming over for big money, obviously the Judge deal, but like you look at their payroll and I mean, Cole, you have some money tied up in the rotation. That's what I'm trying to think about. Yeah. Like Rodon's got some money, Cole's got a lot of money, but outside of that, it's like you said, I mean, the Rays, I mean, I'm not going to say the Rays or the Brewers are going to win the World Series, but it seems like
they got a better chance than most right now.
They compete year in and year out for the most part. I mean, the last 5 to 6, 7 years, something like that. But they don't spend any money. Like, they don't spend any money on the team. It's like, how much further are the Yankees getting by spending? Like, I'd almost look at it like, okay, either we're going to spend our money better because they have the money to spend it. That's my biggest. Like, if I'm a Yankees fan, I'm sitting back and watching this. I'm like, why is there an Oswaldo Cabrera on this team? Why is there Volpe? They shouldn't re-sign, in my opinion. Probably shouldn't re-sign him.
He's the worst player in baseball.
I mean, remember ever since Teixeira's been gone, they really haven't had, if you consider Rizzo at 260 and a couple of home, he didn't give you much. Defensively, he was great, but I just look like, when did the Yankees turn in? It's like they're bargain shopping for a lot of their position players, but yet they have this almost unlimited, payroll. Their rotation is, I mean, pretty stout, but it usually gets banged up. Like, it's just typical that happens to most teams, but it just feels like there's no direction.
They're just another team. Yeah, they went to game 5 of the World Series last year, which is fantastic, and probably had a chance to win that thing if Judge doesn't drop a ball and stupid Boone doesn't put in Nestor Cortez in extra innings for whatever reason. So really, that should have been a 3-2 series for the Yankees at some point, but that's hindsight's 2020. But all right, I don't know. You just wonder, you look at that the NHL playoffs ended about 3 weeks ago, and you look at that McDavid, is he kind of feeling the same way? I'm one of the greatest players. I'm the best to ever play the game. And I don't think that's disputable. He's not the greatest ever played. So Gretzky and whatever you want to do it. But, and they've been to the finals twice, but they aren't winning anything. They're not getting better. And what are they doing? So these superstars who are just kind of like, okay, yeah, I'm probably going to the Hall of Fame already if I was to retire tomorrow. And then they're like, I wouldn't mind winning something. Like you can put all the Hart trophies and MVPs, whatever you want, above the fireplace, but eventually your Hall of Fame plaque doesn't say World Series champion, Stanley Cup champion, Super Bowl champion. You're like, well, I guess I'm just rich, which isn't a bad thing. But you know what I'm getting. Like it's just eventually these guys who are, me and the wife were talking about it, like these guys who are uber stars, these superstars, these guys like the Tom Brady's who are they're on Michael Jordan's and the Jeters. There's something not right in their heads. They're winners, and there's something that they're focused on it. And I think McDavid's kind of the same way, and Judge is probably the same way, where they're just a screw loose, where this all they see is sport. These guys, it must drive them nuts that they don't have something. Like Bryce Harper's another one, right? It must, like Harper's been a phenom since he was 15. And so it must drive these guys a little bit nuts that they don't have something. And then like the Phillies are fine this year. Like who knows where they're going to go, but like they're pretty much a locked in playoff team. Something horrible would have to happen for that to occur. Make it the brutally honest curse on them or something. But you just got to get thinking like these guys who are generational talents, they want to win. And if they don't get one, it's like, what did I really do other than earn a bunch of money, which is a nice thing, but you know what I mean?
I mean, yeah, absolutely. I think that's why some of these guys play the game. It's like, they grow up. I mean, obviously making the league is a check, you're checking the box because like first you got to do that and that's what you dream of. But like winning a I'm sure Aaron Judge has, visualized it and dreamt about it since a kid. Harper for like another one. He's like a guy, he probably challenges people to play ping pong and he's super competitive. It just seems like everything that guy does is like, I have to win. And it's funny. He leaves the Nationals, then they win. That would be some motivation nonstop if I was in Harper's shoes. But I'm sure there's some guys that are like that. The catcher, I don't want to keep picking on him, but that guy in the Yankees that was like literally an Uber driver. Like I'm sure he's like, holy hell, I'm just happy to be here. Like this beats doing a job I don't want to do, every day and twice on Sundays, but. Like, these even like a Goldschmidt, like those caliber of guys, you got to think like, all right, let's go win. Like we need to win one. We need to cement our legacy forever. And like, there's only one team at every year. And like you said, McDavid, I mean, I've seen those clips of McDavid screaming at everybody and, it's like, he's a different type of player. And like you said, he's, like at that talent level too, like the commitment it probably takes to just sustain, like to be that good for that long. And every single season is the same consistency. Like these guys don't just do that to remain rich, I would think, because they already got that. That's already locked up and it's guaranteed money. At least I'm not sure about the NHL as much. And I know they don't make as much, but still, I mean, splitting hairs.
McDavid's doing okay. I think he was making 13 or 14 this year, and he's up for a deal next year, and he'll probably get. I mean, it's not WA or NBA. I was going to say WNBA, but it's not NBA money or baseball or like a high-end football guys. But he does okay. And then these guys and some of their endorsements, they're still okay. They're fine.
Absolutely, I just, like I said, if you're a guy that's just kind of lucky to be there, might have a little bit of different mindset. But like Aaron Judge is going to be the right fielder, center fielder, whatever for the next 10 years or whatever. Like at some point, he's probably like, okay, are we going to do this or not? Like I'm sure he doesn't think quite like that because I mean, who knows? But
Aaron, I think the complete opposite. I think that they do. I think these guys who are like, okay, here's my legacy. I think they might. And I wonder how those conversations happen. Do they do it through their agent? How much do Cashman and Steinbrenner talk to Judge face to face? Is it there a hierarchy? Does it go Judge to Boone and then up, or is it no Boone? Fuck off. There's about 20. I really got one out there. Boone, like, is it does Judge usurp Boone and go and talk to everybody? Like how? Like I would think, and not just the Yankees, but I think the superstars are probably right in the back pocket of the GM or the baseball management or the owners. They'd have to be because they're the highest paid employees on that in the organization. So I would like if I was the owner, I wouldn't mind talking to that guy to see what his thoughts are. Like, hey, I'm giving you $45 million a year. I'd like to make sure you're happy. Like
it's gotta, yeah. I don't. I'd be surprised if at this point.
But there is a pecking order, right? Like you can't just have everybody going above the manager and everybody going above this guy. Because then, well, yeah.
I mean, I know, and this is totally different and can be completely not even comparable. But I know LeBron has been basically the GM of like everything he's been on. Like I would think like Aaron Judge would carry the weight of like if I go to Cashman and tell him, hey, can we go get Kyle Tucker? Can we go like I just wonder if that ever happens. Like I just wonder if that because I mean, not to say Brian Cashman's like he can't do anything right, but at this point you're like if I'm a Yankees fan, I'm sitting there like, what the hell is what are we doing? Like we have a good, we have a good payroll to go out and spend with, and like we're picking up Paul Goldschmidt it's almost like they're trying to be the Orioles or something. It's like we're picking up guys at the end of their career, like for budget money, like hoping they just find
one more at bat in. They have one more. They got one more little run in them.
Yeah,
see what we can do.
He won an MVP in like 21, I think, and he's like not been really the same ever since then. And like he's a good player, he's a decent player, but like when I grew up, it was like my God, 1 through 9 with the Yankees was like, how are you getting through that line? It was terrifying. Like you had, even like when they went out and got like the Johnny Damons of the world. Even I know Ellsbury didn't really work out, but like when they signed that, I was like, wow, like you had Jorge Posada, A-Rod, Jeter, Cano's hitting 45 home runs a year. It's like there's no way out of that lineup without it being like every at bat was a challenge. Now it's like if I was opposing team, I would like just pitch around Judge every time and go after everybody else.
That happened in Toronto this week. Judge got 5 or 6 intentional walks in the 4 games they played. Swept. Yep. Done. Pretty simple. Don't let that guy beat you.
I would try that.
And look what happened. All right. Put them on. Okay. Because the rest of them suck. Like it's actually that simple. And it worked. Like if the Yankees are playing the Mets today, like okay, don't let their best guy beat you. Pretty simple. Right? It's just it's that easy. And then it's it just drives a guy nuts. You wonder why more teams don't just do that. And then maybe they'll start doing it because no one else scares them. And that was another thing that because I've talked about before too, is that I always felt that the Yankees and back in the day, like you just spoke of, they wanted to they scared you, and they always went for them. They were spending money, and I'm not in for buying world championships and everything else, but you always felt that the management was trying to do something where you knew a lot of teams aren't trying to do something at all. You just know that they don't have any interest in spending that extra $10.95 to get themselves a second baseman, or they don't want it. They just like that's not in the budget. And so the Yankees always tried, and the Dodgers they're doing that. They always try, and the Red Sox for a long time they always tried. And you watch a lot of things and listen to a lot of things, and how Red Sox fans are pretty disgusted with their ownership group because they're not even trying anymore. They're just like, well, we have our 2 or 3 World Series, whatever it is, and we broke the curse, blah blah blah, and then now they're just like, no, we're good. Place sold out, we don't care. But they're not winning, and eventually that runs out. People do get a little bit like, I wouldn't mind seeing an effort from the ownership group, and you're just like, and then now that with the Yankees not seeming to try. They're kind of feeling the pain of their teams. And like when you spoke of like earlier, like we were like earlier this year, or maybe even the wintertime, we were talking about how the Orioles were like, hey, new ownership. And then it just, they aren't doing anything. They're just not doing anything. No, and they were completely wrong with the guys that they went out and signed and they're sticking with, and go out and get Charlie Morton or whatever. Yeah. Like, it's just like, okay, what are we doing? And then they were like looking back how wrong they were on all aspects of that lineup, like just wrong. And it's a disaster in Baltimore. Like 9/11 is a disaster. This is just an unfortunate set of circumstances, right? It's just.
I mean, it's a sports disaster. I mean, it's a sports
debacle,
cluster F. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's like. them, for example, like, I mean, you or I might, I mean, you might be able to scout talent better than Mike Elias, their GM. Like, I thought he was like, that guy was spot on. He came over from the Astros, came off a World Series title with them. I was like, wow, this is probably a good thing for them. Like somebody that's been around success, not just some guy that's been around baseball and bounced around at how many teams and this, that, and the third. And he's a younger guy. It's not like he's, and is stuck in his old ways, but I mean, Gunnar Henderson was a draft pick. A lot of their, like, they have some pitching that is still relevant, but I mean, some of these guys, I mean, they've traded away Kyle Stowers, and he's killing it on the Marlins. Like and who's on that lineup? Absolutely nobody. So if you put him on a better team, like he'd probably have even better numbers. But like, this Heston Kjerstad guy that they keep trying out there can't play. He's awful. Like I had high hopes for that guy, but he's like power or bust, and like he barely hits he doesn't even hardly make contact. So that's a problem within its own thing. And then they had their moment when they could have put the foot on the gas, like this offseason, if they would have went out and got, Max Fried, like if they would have said, we're going to go get a bona fide starting pitcher, we're going to go get Kyle Tucker. Like if they would have went bang, bang, Max Fried, Kyle Tucker. I know it's probably unrealistic to think that way, but I mean, if you have an ownership group that wants to win, like look at the Mets, they're doing exactly that. They're like, well, okay, Soto, well, you want $5 more million? Who cares? Like, we'll give it to you. And I'm not expecting the Orioles to be the Mets, but when you go out and sign, like you're telling the fan base that like, okay, we're going to try to salvage what we have with Charlie Morton, who's 40, and Laureano's actually been a good right fielder for them, which is surprising, but coming over from the A's. But I mean, he's they lost Santander, they replaced him with Laureano. Tyler O'Neill was kind of supposed to be that too, but talk about a guy that he wakes up, in the middle of the night, stubs his toe and trips down the stairs, and he's out for 4 weeks. Like it's just, he's the most injury prone player I've probably ever seen. So it's you're bargain shopping, trying to be up there with the big dogs, and honestly, the AL East is more open now than it's been in a long time, in my opinion. And Baltimore just sat on their hands and was like, yeah, we'll be all right. And I don't know if that's ownership group saying like, hey, we're getting people in the building now. This is better than it used to be, so we're happy with that. I tend to think that's what it is, because I think if they open the checkbook, they could be a good team.
We just got joined by Joey House, the other half of Brutally Honest Sports, deep at the Atlantic Ocean somewhere, apparently. Pacific Ocean somewhere. Yeah, well, who knew? Joey, how you doing? It's been a week or two.
It has been a couple of weeks, Brent. How you doing?
I'm doing well. Me and Aaron are just talking about baseball teams who just kind of shoot themselves in the foot and they pretend that they're going for it and they don't. It happens in sports throughout, like whether it's baseball, hockey, basketball, football, where ownership groups kind of say they're going for it, but don't really give the fan bases what they want. I just thought this when Aaron was talking there. Is this just a situation where maybe expansion, because you're more closer to my vintage than you are Aaron's for sure.
Yes.
Is this just a situation that maybe there's just not enough high-end talent for what expansion did compared to what it was 20, 30 years ago? There's just not enough good players to make a lot of teams any good.
That's a deep question.
I'm a very deep person.
Yes, you are. First, it's great to be back here. But I think that's a very relevant point. And because there's the expansion of all the other sports too, there's more kids now playing other sports instead of baseball growing up. So yeah, that's a very, very strong point. I look at the situation that Aaron was explaining about the Orioles, and I'm an Orioles fan as well, not as big as Aaron is, but we share our true allegiance in the city of brotherly love. Mm-hmm. Like I feel a little bad for the Aarons of the world, because he sees the one half he sees how the other half is living, where the Mets and the Phillies, and I mean the Yankees have always been like that, or the Dodgers, they don't care about luxury tax. Whereas the Orioles ownership group is a little more frugal. But at least they admit that they're trying to win. Then you have the Pirates who just say, no, we're not. It is what it is. Like, this is what we're going to get.
Like you look at, I mean, I don't know. I have no idea why I was thinking of this, but you think about irrelevant franchises, and I don't know. I don't know, something was going on in my head earlier on today, but I was thinking about the Miami Dolphins. Like, why? Like, if there isn't a more irrelevant franchise in sports, I don't know that there might be one. Like, and there's a lot of teams throughout professional sports that are one. Like, you look at the games that are being played in Miami. No one's there. Nobody cares. They don't get anybody. They never win. They never and then their hockey team obviously won this year, but the Marlins stink. The Dolphins generally stink. Their college football teams aren't as good as they used to be back in the 90s.
Right.
Is there a more irrelevant sports town than Miami when it comes down to it? Because they're just people are going to come, or they're not going to come, Aaron.
I mean, they're up there. I Chicago having like the Cubs to kind of carry, like if it was just the White Sox, that would put a damper on that. I mean, Arizona to me has always kind of been a city like, Phoenix. You think about the Cardinals in that area, does that really draw people? Probably not. The Diamondbacks, even when they were in the NLCS with the Phillies a couple of years ago, they didn't sell out that building. I just feel like out west people just don't. It's not that same hardcore passion, which is fine. That's another city to me, like, that rivals Miami. Is like, if those teams weren't good, there would be nobody there. Like, either team, nobody goes see the Cardinals, nobody goes see the Diamondbacks, and that would just be it.
I feel for these fan bases that manage the sports management, the owners, and they flat out lie to these fan bases. Say, yeah, we're giving it a shot, we're trying, yeah, and then they just don't. They just don't. Like, it's like they fake it. Yeah, you go out and sign Corbin Burns, and you sign this guy, and well, it's one guy. So what? Like you just feel that a lot of times it's just like, would you just because if I lived in a city with a major league team, I would probably go to 50 games a year because they got me. They got old white guy here that's going to go to a game and whatever. It's fine. I don't like, you want your team to win, but I'm going to go. I'm a baseball dork, so I'm going to go. But these other people who are just they're fringe people who get lied to. It happens more often than not, it seems, in professional sports, not just baseball, Joey, but in sports across the board. If you look at, and I'm not a bit like this is not a secret. I'm not a big NFL guy. I'm not, but like I'll watch it because you're supposed to. But like, how many NFL teams right now, as training camps are set to open in a week and a half? And Aaron, we've talked about this before. How many NFL teams have a chance of winning? 4, 5, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's a pretty fair number. I mean, there's always an outside possibility, but I mean, those teams are what? Philly, Kansas City, Buffalo.
Detroit, maybe.
Detroit.
Yeah. And that's it.
Baltimore, maybe. We say that every year. Baltimore, maybe every year. Buffalo, maybe every year. It's just the same.
So
I think, yeah.
So 10% of the teams, 12% of the teams, 15% of the teams. Right, 15% of the teams have a chance to win, and yet they keep raising ticker prices, and then you got to buy every bloody app, and you got to buy every this and that. And it's like for what? Like, eventually,
you have to take a mortgage out to take your family of 4 to a game.
Is there ever going to be a point where fan bases or just fans in general revolt a little bit and go, you know what? I'm not doing this anymore. I've had it. I'm not. Anybody who burns their jerseys is a complete idiot, or smashes their TV. You're an idiot. So jerseys cost $200 and whatever. But is there ever going to be a point where people go, you know what? I'm out. I'm good. I don't need to watch this crap anymore. I invest my time in it. I invest my hard-earned money in it. And what am I getting out of it for this guy to pretend that they're trying to win championships? None of us we do this for a quote unquote living. It's like we're invested, but for the average person, they probably like, what the hell am I doing? Like we're not winning.
I don't think the average person thinks like that though. The average fan, it depends on what type of fan you are. Like if you're the social type of fan, you just want to go and experience the game. It's all about the experience. But if you actually care about your team's performance, then yeah, that could be frustrating.
Like Jim, fan of the van, it's about like Pittsburgh. Well, there it is. I'll say it. Jim, he's probably going to listen to this later on. How irrelevant are the Pittsburgh Steelers? Say it. Really? Say it. Like you're going to piss Jim off, guaranteed. He's going to get all. But I don't think he'll disagree with you.
They're one foot in, one foot out.
Maybe it's hard, tough love. But how irrelevant are they? Really?
I think they're
fan base
they're
is
not
huge.
fully committed to winning. That's what I think. They're 1 foot in, 1 foot. Like they're almost like, and I don't want to insult you here, Brent, but they're almost like the Yankees right now. They operate because they're never going to say we're going to blow the whole thing up and start at ground zero and whatnot. The Yankee and baseball,
they don't think they ever need to.
They where they're at now, they're never going to get any further than where they're at unless they hit on a quarterback in the draft. Like trying this Russell Wilson thing, Justin Fields. Now it's Aaron Rodgers. Like is it Kirk Cousins next year? You're never going to win that.
They'd have better luck bringing Doug Flutie out of retirement than putting in Aaron Rodgers. Like that is what kind of moron thinks that's going to work? I mean, I could end up being wrong. We'll do this a year from now. But who thinks that's going to work?
They'll finish.
I was given everything possible in Green Bay. The guy was given the keys to the Cadillac wherever he's been. Nothing. One championship. One. And so let's give a 40-whatever-year-old man how much what? Why?
They don't want to sink to irrelevancy, so they're just we'll stay like a reason for people to come watch. Well, we'll have a quote unquote Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame.
He's a Hall of Fame.
Yeah, but they don't want to embarrass themselves by I guess the Kenny Pickett thing kind of scares them. I think because even though he kept them relevant, like it's not like they were a 4-1 team, but it's almost like with the Steelers, there's so much like pride there that they're like, all right, if we have Aaron Rodgers, we have a chance. And like if we have Mike Tomlin, we'll finish one game above 500. It's just like, okay.
That matters a lot to their fan base that they haven't had a losing record.
That's the only reason why Tomlin's still there, I think. That's my take on it.
I mean, I think he's a good coach, but Andy Reid, when he left Philly, said that a coach wears out his message after a certain amount of time. And I definitely think that Tomlin,
5 years.
I think it's longer than that. Like,
I mean, Harbaugh's still kicking around.
If you win, Joey, if you win, absolutely, because everything's all rainbows, unicorns.
Yeah,
rainbows, unicorns, and teams winning. But the second you start losing, this guy's mad, that guy's mad, free agent comes in, we didn't do this, we didn't do that, people are mad.
Yeah,
I didn't get enough playing time. I didn't do this. I didn't get this. And these prima donna kids nowadays, they haven't been told no since the age of 10.
And it's getting worse with NIL.
Right
now, they're not being told in college.
So now they're leaving college. They're deciding where they go to college, not college deciding where they go.
Mm-hmm.
Because I deal with the baseball team here in Lethbridge. We got a bunch of kids in transfer portal right now. Bunch of them. Seriously. This summer, they're all like, where am I going to go? Well, why didn't you stay where you were? Can't be that bad.
I'm not playing.
You're playing college baseball somewhere. Most kids aren't.
Yeah.
Right. So like I see it. So now, like this goes back not that many years. College football used to be the greatest job in the world because like Nick Saban why he quit, right? Old one, but he didn't control the athlete anymore. The athlete started controlling college football. I'm going here, I'm going there, I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Right? You can't hide things anymore. Like you can't be yelling at kids because kids like, he yelled at me, I'm going to go somewhere else. I'm not getting enough playing time, I'm going somewhere else. So when they start doing it in college, they're going to be even more insufferable when they get to, and that's just not, it's not just in football. They're going to become even more insufferable than they are when they got a few $1 million in their pocket. Like so the Mike Tomlin era, like it's just, I don't know. It's crazy to me, Joey. What's your thoughts on that?
I'm in complete agreement with your analysis of the insufferability of today's athletes. Like they have no work ethic. They don't have any stick-to-itiveness. If something doesn't go their way, they just leave, and that's indicative, I think, of our society overall. It's a very disposable society. I mean, like, when you were growing up, did your family ever have a TV that broke down?
Oh, I'm sure we did. You fixed it.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
the rabbit ears or whatever, the cord in the back or whatever.
Now you just go out and buy another one. You throw it away and just go buy another one. Like, and that's prevalent across all society. Marriages are the same way. I mean, that's why over 50% of them end in divorce.
I just like today's athlete, then they like winning. I think that's probably one of the reasons why dynasties don't happen very often anymore, right? Because it's just like the grass is always greener somewhere, and the grass was greener on your side. I can go here and go there, and instead of building a team like the Florida Panthers, I know you guys aren't the two biggest hockey guys, but you have guys staying there now. They're like, you know what? Living in Florida is not that bad, right? It's warm. I can live in anonymity. Nobody knows who I am. I'm a hockey player in Florida. I don't get taxed. Blah blah blah. So they're signing guys for 2/3 the price to win championships. Is that something that's lost in a lot of other sports, that maybe winning doesn't matter to a bunch of guys anymore?
I think it takes like a back seat, you know. Like we were talking a lot on Soto already, but like if I don't know. This is a team, and like I'm weird. There's some franchises that I have no trust in the Padres. They could go 162-0. They hit the
Mariners. The Mariners are the best team in baseball right now. They ain't winning nothing.
They won't win anything. They probably won't even win a playoff series. I would probably bet against them to beat whoever they like. If they went up against the Astros, they're not winning. I just don't see it. But like if the Mariners or if the Padres shelled out all that money to Soto and like they beat the Mets offer, they beat the Yankees offer, he would have went there. I mean, I'm not saying everybody's wired like Juan Soto is, but I almost want to say more players are wired that way than, I mean, to Judge's credit, he took less money to go to the Yankees, but I think being a Yankee might mean more than like winning. Is that the number one? I don't know, but like being a Yankee, that's probably why he did that. But I don't think these guys that are going into free agency, most of them, at least in the MLB, are thinking, yeah, let me go to the team with the best chance to win. Like, no, let me get the best contract I can get, and that's it.
Yeah, me.
Like if somebody was to say, I mean, Jesus, it's all hypothetical. Obviously, that's what podcasts are. It's hypothetical. Someone said to me, "Here, you know what? We got $5 million left in the books. Can you come here for a team that has a really good chance of winning? Or here's $7 million, and we have no chance of winning." I think I'm taking the 5. I like that. That's just me. To get your name on a trophy, or to get your name in part of forever, and to get a ring, or like those stories are way better than we finished 81 and 81, or we.
But what if they were offering you 15 million more? 15 versus the 5.
Well, Joey, that's why I'm sitting here. I was never that good. Right? So
they weren't offering me 1 million, let alone 5.
I know, like it's just, man. I was always like, I hated losing. I think I told you this before, Aaron. I was the worst loser ever. Like I hated it. I like you win, whatever. I hated losing. It drove me absolutely like batshit crazy. I would freak out. punch people and spaz and the whole bit. Like I was bad at it. I was a bad loser, which is a good thing. I don't think you have that a whole bunch anymore. Like I the guys like you're watching. All right, we lost. Like guys aren't even afraid to strike out anymore. Like you think about that. Like you think guys go 0 for 4 and strike out 3 times, pop up the other time and go, wow, good approach though.
There's always tomorrow.
Yeah, I'll get him tomorrow. But you went 0 for 4, you struck out 3 times. Like guys aren't afraid to strike out anymore because the metrics say, well, if I swing as hard as I can, eventually one of them's going to go. They don't like winning is such a. It's so different in the StatCast era. It's just so. It's different. And the Joey, when did it change for you? Like when the free agency first started happening, and like I know like in hockey. I think it was back like 93 or 94 when the head of the Players Association said, you know what, we should publicize what people make a year. And so what happened was other players found out because it used to be a hush hush, don't say what you made, just be quiet about it. And then they publicized what every player made. And that's when it all went crazy because, well, I'm better than that guy. Why aren't I making this? And so that's when everything kind of went nuts. And now and it's probably that way in every sport now where everybody's just like money. And I get it. If somebody offered me $45 million to strike out three out of 4 times, I'd take it. And I would be able to do that pretty easily, really easily. Like, it wouldn't be hard for Brent to do. Like, I haven't swung a bat in 20 years or 30 years in a baseball level, but it's just like, what are we doing here? Like is baseball is money just the root of all evil when it comes to sports? And it's just like it's like the games are almost secondary. And here it is. And have fans been duped along the way?
I don't think fans have been duped because
there's some pretty stupid people out there, Joey.
Oh, you're speaking to the choir, my friend. But I do agree that winning is not the priority for a large majority of the players. That's why when you see somebody like a Kobe or a Jordan, like it resonates instantly. Like you see that in them. And that's also, I think, one of the knocks against LeBron, because he is the type of guy who can miss a game-winning shot and go read a book. And well, I mean, I'll come back and get him tomorrow because I'm going to play for 25 years or whatever. Whereas, like, I think if Jordan missed a shot like that for a chip or something, not that he ever did, he'd be out shooting after the game was done.
Yeah, it's Aaron. Follow up on that.
Yeah, I agree with. I mean, I definitely agree. I thought like the NBA to me hasn't been the same since like I don't sit there and watch it as much as I used to. But when Kobe retired, I thought that was kind of like the beginning of. Like, I'm not saying these guys don't care, but like
I am.
A lot of them, you see them mail it in. Like you'll see guys mail in a bat, mail in a game win, a shot. Like it's just like it's such a. Especially, I mean, baseball, I'm not going to say it's a problem with the game because I love that they play 162, but you'll see it like, you'll be like, man, did that guy even like have an approach today? Like I've seen guys that just take 3 pitches and they're all 3 strikes. And I'm like, okay. I mean, any of us could have done that. So I don't know. It's definitely like you guys both kind of alluded to. Is winning the number one priority for the majority. I agree with Joey when I say that it's not. Like it's part of it. Like, sure, there's guys like I talked about. I think Harper's one of those guys that wants to win a lot. He wants his money. Don't get me wrong. He would same thing. If the Padres would have offered him $8 more million to go there, I don't think he comes to Philly. He can say, "Oh, I love the Philly fans. I love it here." This and he can say all the right things. Doesn't make a difference to me because if the money was somewhere else, I think he would have went somewhere else. And even if that team, like, I have no trust in Padres ownership to put a winning team on the field, he would have went there. So I think first is money. Winning is somewhere in there for a lot of these guys, but it's not like I'm going to go to the team with the best chance to win and that's it. Like there's no way it starts and ends there.
Has sport, because NFL obviously has expanded playoffs with the expanded wild card. Baseball obviously did it. Hockey has a different way of doing things now. Basketball has that play-in thing. It's all for money, for TV, for sales, for blah blah blah, TV contracts. Has professional sports eaten themselves alive a little bit by every team getting a participation medal? By every team kind of has a chance to make the playoffs, to make it look like they got a chance, but they don't really have a snowball's chance in hell of winning anything. Has the all the major sports leagues hurt themselves, Joey, by expanding playoffs?
No, I don't think so.
That's
because
more eyeballs is good. Yeah, I get it, but it's false hope.
So I just got done watching the Apple series Ted Lasso, and one of the episodes was called "It's the Hope That Kills You," and that's a very English philosophy. Is that they're a very dour society, and because they have no hope, they live on an island. It rains 85% of the year. And I mean, and they don't have any hope. And I think hope is a very, I mean, this has gotten very, very deep. But hope is a very
Saturday
American.
Sports bar is raining outside, man, or whatever. Yeah, that's what it is.
But hope is a very fundamental American philosophy, I think. So with expansion of playoffs. Yes, it was obviously done for more money. I couldn't agree with that more. But if you're in the dance, you have a chance to win. And I mean, you look at in the 80s in college basketball, North Carolina State won as an 8 seed. As an 8 seed, that means they're the 32nd best team in the country. 3 years later, Villanova won. So,
I mean, it does make for a good story. Like when it comes to like the Sweet 16, like when a team that has no hope in hell, they're the 16, and right. they win a game. They win a game, right? Or the 16's only won once, I think, once or twice in the history. But like say a 13 or a 12 in the Cinderella team, it's a good story. But Cinderella never wins. Never.
Well,
I hate to burst your bubble, but Cinderella never wins. It's a great story, and it's all heartfelt. Hey, this is great. And then, we sold a bunch of T-shirts, and then they're out in the Elite Eight.
But that's winning for some programs. It's not winning the championship, but that's winning. That's a successful season. So hope builds success. In
pro sports, it's a lot different, Aaron, though, right?
Like, yeah.
It's just all right. Well, yeah, we're 81 and 81, or we're 9 and 8, or whatever it might be. Yeah. Try again next year, I guess.
We kind of talked about those teams like the Orioles of the world, the Brewers, the Rays, and I'm not saying those teams are all three comparable because the Orioles are hot trash this year and those other teams are pretty good. But like it just feels like when they go to the playoffs, it's like, all right, when is maybe that's the pessimist because I'm a very pessimistic sports fan. That's just
you're a Philly fan.
Philly and Penn State. You're gonna get just beat and then kicked and then beat and kicked more. So, but I mean, like when the Rays made that World Series against the Phillies, I mean that, we can how can we define was that a successful season for them? I would say obviously yes. But if you go to like a diehard Rays fan, they're probably like, that sucks. Like we made it there, and like I've always been the proponent. I think Joey and I argue a lot about that. Is like he'll say that was that was a great season. I'd say, well, we didn't win at all, so how great was it? Like I've always, I mean, it's hard to win, and that's Brent's quote all the time. It's very hard to win, but it like these teams that like the Brewers, are the Brewers going to win a World Series in the next 15 years? I would bet no. I'm not saying they won't, but I'd be fairly confident in saying no. I'd be decently confident. And they're a team that they have hope. They have hope. They have the division. And it's like, That's all. They shoot their load in the first round and then they're done. It's just
like you brought up Penn State, and I'm not a Penn State apologist by any means, but it's what's a successful season to you? What's a successful season to Penn State? Beating Michigan, going to national championship. Like, what is it? Like, what's a successful season?
It's changing, because for a while it was just having a winning season, and you hear a lot of Penn State fans talk about their multiple 10 wins or more in a season. They did it like 6 or 7 times or something like that. So for a while it was just reaching a New Year's Day bowl, New Year's Day 6 bowl or something like that. Now with the playoffs, they made it to the semifinals last year. So, I mean, with the talent that they have this year, if they do not reach the national championship game, it's a failure.
And that's a bowl. Joey's been like way more. I don't know how to put it. He's been a lot easier on them than I have. So for him to say that is like, that's like my brain's going to explode.
But now, if they beat Ohio State and Michigan, but don't make it to the losing the quarterfinals,
these screaming hot takes from college football fans make me laugh. I love it because we could go 0-10 and then win those 2 games. It's a good season. Like what? Oh, but you beat Michigan, you beat Ohio State. They're 11-2. We're 2-11. But boy, oh boy, we got them. We showed them. Okay,
that wouldn't make it a successful
I've been on
season.
with some Michigan guys and stuff, and they talk the same way. Like it doesn't. It's just funny how that screaming hot take comes out.
Yeah, that wouldn't make it a successful season, but it would definitely soothe some of the wounds. Unbelievable.
You're already giving up, aren't you? I can say.
No, I'm watching the Cubs St. Louis game.
Oh, Aaron, what's this? Like, is Penn State like the epitome of like, we almost got him. When's the last time they won?
1996.
96.
They've never won in Aaron's lifetime, so they absolutely are that.
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's like, I mean, you guys, I'm taking all your things. It's just these things are popping in my. They're like permanently stuck in my head. Like Penn State licks the jar more than they're up there with some of the best. Some of the best. I mean, it's just. I mean, last year, I agree with Joey's point completely. It's changing. A couple of years ago, it was like, can we win 10 games? Like, it would be 2, 3, 4 loss seasons, and that was just the way it was. They've gotten better. And now bringing in like taking Ohio State's defensive coordinator away is one of the biggest things I've ever seen that program do, in my opinion, just because it's like finally I'm not saying that's going to lead to a national championship, but it's like we finally feel like we're with eating at the big boy table to a certain degree. So it's like if this isn't the year, I truthfully believe I don't know, and anything can happen. The next quarterback might be just the same, and like I think they'll be good. Penn State won't go away, but this, like, they're bringing back so many seniors, older guys. Like, if it's not this year, I when that's my thing. Because last year they should have beaten Notre Dame. I'll die on that hill. They're the better team. They shot themselves in the foot as many times as they possibly could and found a way to lose. But it's this year. It's like Joey said. I mean, for Joey to say that, and who gives them a little bit more of a benefit of the doubt than I do, a lot more, I think sometimes. I have to say, like, you have to make it, and then if you make it and get blown out, I'll be irate. But that'll be like, you have to make it. It's gonna be hard. The college, we'll see. Penn State had a really good, like, the way they got to the championship game. I don't know if we'll see a route as easy this, like, again, for them. I don't know.
I know we won't.
That's the kicker. Last year was like, seize the opportunity. You're there. Like, you just beat Notre Dame, get into the national championship, but it didn't happen.
To me, Penn State's one of those. They're not going to. Like it's like yeah, they're gonna have a great year and then they're gonna stub their dick on somebody, right? They'll end up losing to Mizzou or who, like like somebody like what the hell just happened?
That would really sting this year since our backup quarterback is now their starting quarterback for Brewer.
Right. Like it's just one of those things you just know and that's one of the great things about and we talked about this before. That's why I love college football. It's my second favorite sport other than baseball because every week it's another thing could happen. And this guy's got to beat that guy, and if this team loses, it's great. It's great theatrics. But every year, Penn State, you're just like one of these. They're always half a second away from disaster. You just know it. It's going to happen. Like I don't know who they're playing this year, but I bet you if I was pull up their schedule right now, I could probably pick out 3 games that they should win, and one of them that they won't, and they won't win one of those 3. It's just how it works with them, and I don't know why. And there's lots of teams. Like I'm a USC guy, so what the fuck do I know? But it's just funny that way that works out with college football. It's tough, and it's coming right around the corner. Yeah, we'll get going here. We've been going for an hour. It's been real quick, but is college football the only sport where loyalty just reigns abound no matter what? It's like you could drop your NHL team, your NFL team, your NBA team, and Major League Baseball, whatever. But when your college team is your college team, that's pretty much it. Hey, you can't get away from that. Like, even if you didn't go to the college, once your team is your team, that's it.
Absolutely.
Why is that?
Why is that?
Did you guys go to Penn State? Either you guys?
Nope.
I went to a branch campus. Both of my parents went to Penn State.
Okay.
But yeah, like it's passed on from. It's a tradition. It's passed on from just different generations of a family. So you're 100%. You couldn't be any more right. That you don't see many diehard fans, like true fans, be a fan of USC for 20 years and then after that say, I'm gonna start rooting for UCLA.
Yeah, it's just it's weird how people have you ever changed a pro team, Joey? Just said, yeah, I'm done with these assholes.
No, because I haven't. I have said I'm done with these assholes, but I haven't started rooting for somebody else instead. Like, because I invariably come back to the same assholes. But yeah, no, I haven't changed the pro team. I've been a Philadelphia guy. I think maybe when I was really young and dumb, like when I say young, like 5 or 6 years old, I was a Cowboys fan, and my dad's like, "No way, no, you're not." So that lasted all maybe like a month.
Aaron, you ever switch allegiances a little bit?
NBA, I've kind of flirted. Yeah, to me, and I mean anybody watching this that they might absolutely burn my house down for saying it, but I think the NBA is a joke, just plain and simple. So
people watch this would agree with you. Yeah,
there's absolutely no team like loyalty, and not that other sports have a ton of it or any of it, but like Kevin Durant, I'm out of here. Oh, I'm out of here. Oh, I'm out of there. Like, it's just like there's plenty of those guys all over the league. So there's been times I've rooted for the Knicks. Is where like I was a big Carmelo Anthony fan. So
yeah,
but I like I said, if I have an NBA team, I guess it's the Knicks. But I don't care enough. If they're in the playoffs, I root for them. If the Sixers are in the playoffs, I root for them. I don't care though. But no, I mean I've never. Yeah, I have 2 baseball teams, which I kind of hate myself for.
That's allowed. That's allowed.
Like my dad, it was always Orioles, and then Penn State. So I got like that was embedded in my head. But I watched a lot of Phillies growing up, so that's always gone. But I've as much as the Eagles have pissed me off. I mean, not lately, but I never jump ship or like I'll never fully jump ship off anybody. It's just sucks sometimes. I mean, Joey knows it's tough sometimes, but
breaking up is hard to do. There's no getting around that. Yeah, it's breaking up. It's a tough thing to do. And then going back to the XA, that's even smarter. Hey, oh yeah. Hey, honey.
Yeah, I tried that.
Yeah.
Hi, honey. Remember me? Yeah. There's a reason why we broke up the first time. You stupid. Whatever.
So I got to ask you a question, Brent.
Okay.
Who's going to win tonight in the CFL game?
Who's playing?
It is. Don't get me to line. It is Winnipeg versus Hamilton. No, they played last night.
No, they played last night.
BC versus Montreal.
BC by over 2 touchdowns.
Okay.
Yeah.
That would be an upset.
CFL, go the over.
That would be it. What's that? Yeah.
Always go the over the CFL. Always go the over for sure. Yeah. I've actually watched a few games this year. I usually don't, but for some reason I've been watching a few times this year. It's entertaining. Like it's actually entertaining. It's odd for non if you've never watched it before, it's way different. It's a way different sport than the NFL or college football. It's way different. 3 downs, bigger field, blah, and the kicking field, like it's just a different sport, but it's still it's actually a lot of fun. The last 3 minutes of a CFL game, no matter you can be down by 3 scores and you still have a chance. It's entertaining. It's different. We do this thing over at the Spit Stadium that where the Bulls play called 3 Easy Questions. I got 3 easy questions. You can't get them wrong. We'll end it on this. You guys ready to go?
Yep. Yes.
First one. What color is a mirror?
Silver? I don't know. That's not the right answer.
That's what everybody always says, but it's not the right answer. Joey?
It's the absence of color.
That's deep. That's really deep. Aaron, I don't know, but Aaron, everybody always says silver. I said, well, it's just the color that's on the other side. So it's not silver.
Yeah.
So I don't know what the color is. So that's why it's like you can't get these questions wrong. It's just one of those, one of those things. Number 2, you win $1 million. What's the first thing you buy?
I don't think I could say that on air.
There you go. Maybe you shouldn't. No, actually, don't say
maybe I should.
Second thing.
Nope, still not. Probably
insurance for those first 2 things. I'm thinking.
Plane ticket to go to Vegas.
There you go, Aaron.
Probably just a new house or something like that.
That's dull.
I got enough cars. I don't want another guy. That's my hobby already. It's stupid. I can't. Not the first thing.
Oh, yeah. I would probably buy the baseball team that I'm operating right now. Is what I would do. But anyways, last one. Last but not least, article of clothing you bought in a store that you went, this is really cool. But when you got it home, you went, this isn't really cool. Shirt or something. You went, oh, and then you name one.
I remember, this is, again, going way back. I was in 6th grade, and there was this sweatshirt that was all sorts of colors, and I just thought it was so hip, and I got it. And I wore it to school one day, and everybody laughed at me. I'm just like, no, it was atrocious.
Oh, yeah, I got 1 or 2 of those. I think they're staying in my closet, actually. Yeah. Aaron, you got one?
Yeah, I bought a Flyers jersey, a guy that wasn't on the team anymore. So I was like, let me score that for $15, and I don't think I wore it once. It's like Claude Giroux, and he's been off the team for but it was
Ottawa. Sure, that's why it was $15. Yeah.
Yeah, but then I never even. I was like, I feel like a fraud wearing this.
Is he still in the league?
Yeah, he's in Ottawa. Yeah.
Okay, nice.
He's signed a 4-year contract 2 years ago, I think. Yeah, good player, still a really good player, but yeah, he's. Well, this is fun, guys. It's kind of hour and 15 kind of flew by here. You guys are back together again. The broke up ex-girlfriend thing.
Exactly.
That always works out really well. I think we went over this a little bit. I
thought Joey was breaking up again today, man. No,
no, I do apologize, but no, I had there were some personal issues that were getting in the way. So now that I got that straightened out, and I'm in a better place, I'm not as uptight.
There we go. So where can we find you guys? Like you put up a couple shows last week. I've been like busy.
No, yeah. We haven't. Yeah, we're in talks with Belly Up. I do I mean, full disclosure, I owe them some money, not,
No, it's
yeah. So I'm supposed to talk to them tomorrow evening-ish, and then hopefully iron that out. So because I can't upload any, I'm kind of at a stop right now, but we're looking to get right back on the same channel we were at. So right on the Brutally Honest Sports Network thing.
no. This was a lot of fun on a Saturday afternoon. Getting down to the sports bar, a day off, and talk sports. So it's good. Anything else, boys? That's it.
Nothing
Appreciate
off
it
the
as
top of
always.
my head. Indeed.
No final words of wisdom, Joey. There's got to be something.
Oh God. Yeah. Wow. Not on the spot. There isn't.
No, okay. Anyways, the 1420 Sports Bar Podcast, 4 beer, we're sports talking a whole lot more. Remember, it doesn't matter where you are, it's who you're with. Have a great weekend, folks. Thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. And we will talk to you guys all again. Well, I got time tomorrow. Why not do this again tomorrow afternoon? Have a good day, folks. We'll talk to you later.